I think I've seen this guy before. He's a professor, I believe. And he's one of the opinion we call in jurisprudence realism. Realism means real. Sindio? Real. When somebody says things and then he say, but anyway, real ni. You know?
In real.
Yeah. Because he's saying we are fantastic phonies and fabulous fakes. Words like democracy, freedom, rule of law, constitutionality, constitutional moment, all boils to I want to keep power. And you know, I like how all the men were able to hear through their spouses many complaints. Wewe umesikia hapo huyu mama anataka viatu. Leso. Hata anasema anahitaji mtoto mwingine. They were able to hear through a lot of smoke screen. This guy is saying that realism is that when you go, and you have gone to political rallies. The other time I was reminded of Haminwa, senior counsel, who ran for, I think, Kamukunji parliamentary seat. He went to the podium, took out 200 shillings and said, don't vote for somebody because he has given you this. Vote for them because of ideas. When he came down the dice, the young man ran and said, Ebuleti yo 200. Meaning they missed the whole point. That is what this guy is saying. Before you even finish, you know, when I was running, somebody told me, I know you are a smart guy. Utapata hizo policy baadaye. We malizana na sisi hapa. And they will say, okay, but to be honest, to be fair to you, this is democracy. Tuaga ina line mbili. Wale watu wanataka pesa, sisi utupe tuende, wale wanataka policy wabaki wasikie. That is what this guy is saying. That when you go to real politics, not boardroom politics, where you have AC and you have cookies and you have chocolate and you are discussing democracy in Africa and you have charts and white walls and you have PowerPoint and you are projecting. Who is projecting? Do you have a presentation and you slot it there and it project democracy and whatever? All those are boardroom democracy. Kwa ground things are
different.
And he's saying the reality is, ukifika huko, before umalize, the lines zimeformiwa. Girls, men, women, tumalizie. Even this BBI, ebu enda kwa grassroots ati unawaambia BBI ni mbaya and you don't give them money. That's why DP is running from saying no. You can't sustain that. It's unsustainable. It's very pragmatic. It won't work. It can work here in a small press conference where you have 5 microphones. But on the grassroots, watasikia waseme nye hiyo kitu ni mbaya. Sasa fanya hivi mzee. Tupe kitu. And that is what he's saying, that if democracy is about the choice of the people, have they not chose that is how they want to do their politics? So if you want to do politics there, isn't it silly to come with the politics you want rather than the politics that is there? And the politics that is there is the politics of we don't care about ideology. Somebody said here there is nothing like good meaning Kenyans. We don't care about your ideology. I care about nini, because people have also lost confidence in politicians. Unaenda unakula, so mimi payana yangu sahi tumalizane, we uende ufanye nini ukule. That is what this guy is articulating. He's saying, you know, and I like what he's saying. This guy is sharp, one. Let the accent don't fool you. Let the accent. This guy is a genius. Obote did great things in Uganda, lost power twice. Idi Amin was such a good leader. Forget all these movies kina nani wamefanya hapa ati sijui anakula roho ya watu. Yes, there are some moments that he messed up. But at the end of the day, he didn't know how to keep power. Museveni received power, is keeping power. Opposition is just here in Kampala. The rest of the places, they are saying we are comfortable with Museveni. He only reminds them is when I was in Jinja, they told me, bwana ushasikia bunduki ikipigwa hapa Jinja, unaisikia na Busia Kenya. We, wacha Museveni akae hapa. So that is their choice. And that is what he's saying, that at the end of the day, as long as you go, you go to politics, you think people will buy ideas, and then you get heartbroken. Know that there is not about ideas. Philosopher in the university, write books, come to shows like this and spew the ideas. When you go to grassroots, be pragmatic.
Hi, Lucia, your thoughts?
The gentleman has articulated clearly the problems of elections in Africa. Not only in Uganda, in Africa in general, kwa sababu those are the same problems that we have to deal with here in Kenya. I, however, don't think it's all doom and gloom as he says. It gets to a point where people now realize, bana, this thing is not working, And it only takes 3% of the population to realize that in order to change. Just 3%. Not even a very huge number. So it is true. Watu hawata kusikiza by the way ka uendi kuwapea do. And it's upon our generation to now find creative ways of dealing with that. Because like he said, utaenda utaongea huko vitu zote utasema ni poa, people will relate to everything you've said, but at the end of the day they want food on their table, and you're not giving them that 200 bob to put food on their table for the day. And then it becomes a problem for them to even listen to you. So it's important for us to now start changing the model of politicking. We need to stop giving the handouts, but then it's a process, and we have to start that process now. And the conversations that we are having amongst ourselves and around the country are very important. They are one way of starting that process. It might take us 100 years to get there, where people will not be looking for handouts from politicians, but at least we are doing something about it right now. I feel like our generation kind of understands better compared to the older generation, and maybe this is systemic because we are better. Okay, not better. A majority of us are educated. Tuko na kisomo kidogo compared to the other generation. So we are kind of woke. We understand the repercussions of getting these handouts. We are in the process of trying to understand how that affects everything else in our life. So it's yeah, that's where we are. Hiyo ndio reality kwa ground, by the way. Hiyo tu ndio reality kwa ground. But there is a chance to change that. And that's why actually I'm very outspoken. I like a challenge. So I'm challenging myself to be able to change the politics of this country. Just not just me, but me and other Kenyans who are like-minded.
The more things change, the more they become the same. Statistics have not shown that younger people vote better than older people. Of course, our crowd, the people we hang out with, will be the people who think like us, and it is easier to hypothesize that is the world. But there is statistics that is showing that the young people have not moved a single inch to how they vote. All this philosophy and all this issue-based are here until the 6 months to election, or 2 months, or 1 month. But I think that does not mean it is doomful. To me, I don't think that that means they are not issue-based. The people who are saying, give me a handout, are saying that is the issue I want. That's what the professor is saying. And if democracy is about the will of the people, that is the will that I want. Thy will be done. My will is that I will vote for whoever gives me money. That is democracy. And he's actually saying how foolish the idea of democracy is. And even the people who articulate democracy have said it has a lot of challenges, but it is the best the human can come with. So it's not perfect. What he's saying is that the democracy, has the big assumption that people who will be voting, one, are not starving. That is not our case. That is not going to be our case soon. Democracy have a big assumption that people voting are aware. That is not our case. Even with this BBI, when we go for referendum or people will be signing, do you think that people will have read the BBI? Beto? The people will be coming to sign in those tents as they dance, whether it is reggae.
Probably I've never even seen it.
Will they be the people who will have read the documents? But they will have been expressing the Wanjiku or the will of the people.
The people.
So democracy was based on some underpinning that are not quickly identifiable in our society. One, because we are starving. Two, because of illiteracy or lack of information. And three, because of our tribal formation. Do you know what this guy is saying? It's what I've said. Civil society, sijui media, fourth estate, sijui this political science department, sijui rule of law, all this boil, these things have not checked this country. Tribalism is what runs this country. And that's the articulation of
Mambo ingine ni
BBI.
uongo.
He's saying, watch, let us not pretend. The life of Kenya under a conference room is different from the life of Kenya in Lokichoge on the ground. Where sijui vuguvugu la nini sijui. No, at the end of the day, people are pragmatic. And people vote for their interest, and that interest means whoever give me money. So as we articulate these ideas and ideals, you know, you can't treat it if you don't know the problem. He's not happy. In fact, he might appear, you know, people hate a herald of bad news. He's not saying this is how it should be. He's saying that is how it is. Real. Move from there, beat it, accept it. Then you can cure it. If you have a magical way of curing it, fine. If you find that donors can give you money to donate and you are a good candidate, come donate that money and be elected. Go to parliament and do the good job. If you have professionals, how many times do we collect money for each other when they want to run? Why? Because we know the reality. Collect that money from your fellow professionals. Collect that money from diaspora. Bring that money to the ground. Play that game. Get to parliament and do the right thing.
Have they been doing the right? Question for another.
The right thing depends with whom you ask. Of course, the field is so much mad. There is tribalism, there is party, there is whatever. And at the end of the day, we either choose the world we want to lie to ourselves about, or the reality we are living. That is a reality check. And to me, I would rather take that shock therapy every time, as painful as it is. I would rather take that chill pill and know that this is the reality.
So, Daktari, you say our politics are based on tribal, yeah? Tribalism, yeah? You're right, correct, yeah? Yeah. We've also agreed on this show that we have a whole new generation, Generation Z, that does not subscribe to tribalism.
Where's your data on that? Apart from just that it's a good thing and it sounds good. Because I'm telling you, the data shows.
We have agreed on this show.
But we don't make facts. We can agree, but facts.
Yeah, in our opinion, we have agreed in this show that
you and
Generation Z. No, you included. I'm looking at you, Dr.
I wasn't in that meeting.
Generation Z is not really tribalistic. So it shocks me when one day you have faith in the new generation, then the next day you don't, and you're crowding them with the rest of the stupid Kenyans who've gotten us here. It kind of shocks me.
Stupid Kenya. Yeah, of course I know you are saying the old thinking, isn't it? But I'm telling you, Ayala, that statistic after statistic shows that even in the previous election, young people, this generation, which one is it?
Why?
Generation Y. We are running out of alphabet, as I can see with these generations. This so-called Generation Y did not vote according to issues in the last election.
They actually did not vote. I included. I did not vote.
They were not eligible?
No, we were. We just don't care. But let me ask you a question, Daktari, because this brings me back to my point. When you're looking at me and you want to explain to me the effects of tribalism and corruption and how handouts are denying me public services, and you want to explain the same thing to my mother or your mother, who is going to easily understand and comprehend that which you're saying?
My mother.
Your mother, yeah?
And you know why?
So why is it hard then for your mother to translate her comprehension of what you're saying into better voting?
This is the generation that fought for multi-party.
Exactly.
My mother's generation. This is the generation that united to say Moi must go.
Yes.
This generation of my mother, you know, I'm not equating education to ability to understand vitu.
Okay.
It is not usually, it can be, but it's not usually transferable. If you went to the village, and I'm challenging you, if you went to the village and sat on that stone, or went to Kibera and find those people in the mta and hear the articulation of issues, the understanding of the issues, then now take a conversation to Java, where there is the so-called middle class, or a little bit people who are educated. Hear their dumbness. You will know that education has no direct correlation to understanding of the political issues.
Why are you assuming the people in Kibra and the people in the village do not have an education?
No, generally,
I sit with young people from Madare, the slum, Madare 4A, Madare 10. I sit with young people from Kawangware. I sit with young people from Kibra. And trust me, the way these young people in these areas articulate themselves is better than a young person in Karen Wood.
Then we are agreeing. But I'm saying,
exactly.
In the rural, people have urban-rural migration. Most people who have educated go work out of the village. So if I find people who live in the village, generally, unless you have come for vacation, and that is the challenge we have in this country, then generally there are population. Of course, there will be outliers, but there are population who, most of them, are not either looking for something in the city because they didn't go to school. Generally, we are generalizing. So that population, and even the older population, all of a sudden you're saying this generation Z or Y did not even vote. So they didn't even know why voting is important. You know, these people are not young. We started voting at 19. So why do you think somebody who don't even know why voting is important is better off and better civilized than somebody who go to vote for tribe?
Prof, it's not about not knowing that voting is important. It's about knowing that even if you vote, it will not reflect your will.
And their will is...
That is why my generation and the generation after did not vote. That is why my generation and the generation after are not interested in politics. That is the difference between my generation and the older generation. Because the older generation still believes that they can tweak here and tweak there and fix a problem. My generation believes that we need to uproot the whole system. And when we start sending them messages to that effect, then they can relate to what we are saying. And trust you me, they're going to vote better. Because my generation is educated, and that education is transferable to choices.
What is
the problem is, no, let me tell you something.
The literacy rate in Kenya?
I don't know. I don't know what the literacy rate in Kenya
But you feel they're more educated?
Let me tell you. Yeah, because I engage with them on a
How
weekly
many do you
basis.
engage with in a weekly basis?
Yeah.
On average, how many?
On a weekly basis, I sit with 14 young people.
14 young
I've
people
been
on a
doing
weekly
this for the
basis.
past 4 months.
And for 4 months, so let's say you have sat with about 14 times 4. That is 62 times 1 year. Let's give you 1 year, which is 320. So you have sat with about 12,000 young people.
Okay, so assuming out of the 14 people I sit with every week, I sit with 14, yeah? Those are 14
and
that I have
random.
sat with. Yeah, random.
In Nairobi.
So, assume. Now, I want you to assume.
We have 4 minutes to
From
close
that
that.
14,
2 minutes.
Each
Actually,
one,
2 minutes.
each one is gonna get another 14. Create a pyramid scheme now. Stop putting hurdles where they are not, Ojuan. Look at the possibilities.
Don't patronize this generation. Nobody owns a generation.
You're the one who's patronizing this
We are in the
generation.
same generation.
Stop
Don't own the
calling.
generation.
And stop calling.
I know where that is going. So, I'll read the comment.
Stop calling Wanjiku Mikora because our generation sio
Hakuna
Wakora. It
generation.
is not.
Don't patronize. You don't own generation.
That's all the comments to go.
We are in this world together. Which generation do you own?
Gavalia Babala.
You're actually patronizing me, and it is a shame on you this morning.
Order.
Shame on you, Professor Ojwang. Shame on you
Order.
Stop patronizing me.
Order. Jamaliel Babaya. Oh, guys.
I am the wrong one. I will defend my generation. You and your neoliberal thinking can go and swallow a big G somewhere.
Guys.
I'm not going to allow you to patronize me, and I'm not going to allow you to bully me.
Calm down.
You're smart, and so am I.
Calm down, guys.
All
Calm
of
down.
us in this table are smart.
Calm down, guys.
Calm down,
guys.
Don't think you're better than me. If there's a better person in this room, it has to be me.
Guys.
We are all equal. But if there's a better person, it's going to be me. I have not said I own generation.
Guys,
then
calm
do
down.
not own my mouth.
This is not. All right, guys.
Stop patronizing me. Why
Guys,
are
all
you
right.
bullying?
I've been to you guys. You can.
Because I
Okay.
said no.
Sakwan Blackard says, Dr. Ojwang, you are facing a real brain, and Wisdom Lucia Yela will finish you completely. Leo Duncan. All right. Richard Berasama Lucia Yela on this debate of generation democracy, you won't win. Sometimes Allah. In politics, the end justifies the means. General Rama says, I beg to differ with Amicus Duncan. Kenya as shown we can rise up to the occasion with Kibaki government and also the constitution referendum. When we have something at stake, we band together. Pauline, General politics ni masomo, politics ni masomo, politics ni mpangilio. Politics is for the sly, not for the straight. It's on the comments of the Tanzania. There's a Marshall says the guy is genius, but on the axis of evil, it's zero-sum game. Instead of encouraging true democracy in Uganda, is perpetuating nonsense and stupidity. There is a comment on the video. Leo Lucia Smart, as she thought of going for a serious political seat. He talked about the reality, but most of the realities we have make our lives miserable. That is why we aspire for better ways of doing things. We go to school, we learn, we listen to tackle. It is what we want, a better reality. That is why we work hard. We would get our kids and we still good morals and character. Our reality today doesn't have to be our future reality. Naona mtu anasema sijui kuna watu wagonjwa low family. That's not really important. Steve says I completely agree with this guy. Very sharp. Red pill things. Isaac Chepketa says a great show. Kokweta asante sana. Kiprono Osea. Honorable Hamad Yusuf makes a lot of sense. The end game is keeping power. Inshallah by 2023 we would have known BBI is a scam. Naona pia Sagom lazima Stockholm syndrome is real. The Ugandan shows how in a deep abyss Uganda is. He has been indoctrinated and doesn't fight for the basic democratic rights and human rights. I am disappointed man today. My brothers in Uganda and Tanzania, kweli kuna shida. The speaker is what ails. The speaker is what ails our beloved motherland. Unfortunately, this is the situation in most African nations. Even the people are the problem. Martin Jogo said, I'm really grateful to you, Dr. Nini Tana. David Silva said, if the protest is loud, does this mean the constitution can be amended? 11B down the drain and there is no baby. Pesa tayari imeshaenda and we are not seeing any baby. If there is any country that needs constitution moment is Uganda and Tanzania. Actually it needs BBI. Edwin Maisama hii kitu haitaki hasira. Let's tackle each other calmly. Yes, they'll be calm. They'll become very civil. Ronnie Ansama, our chief Ekla is true and that's our stand as Generation Y. This current system needs a total uproot. Nice to Ansama watching. Evans Kidasama, calm down. Ayala. Ronnie Ansama, please calm down guys. Alright. Kidasama learned education. Lucia on the collar. Evans kasema kumewaka moto mara moja. Moto imewaka, nimewazimia kidogo ili tuweze kuendelea. Anyway guys, we are already at 2 hours sharp. Acha tuchukue tackle of the day. Lucia, what's your tackle of the day?
I want to tackle the person who's sitting right next to me. Who do you speak for when you speak?
Let's not revisit that.
No,
Lucia,
who do you speak for when you speak?
That.
Because when I speak, I speak for a generation of young people who I can relate to, whose issues I have sat and taken time to understand. When someone comes and tries to diminishes the problems of 20 million young people in this country, him being one of them, acting as if he was born in 1900, acting as if he's 100 years old, acting as if he does not relate to the problems that we relate to, acting as if he does not have the challenges that young people have in this country. It is hypocrisy of the highest
highest order. And today I am calling you out on your bullshit, Professor Duncan Ojwang.
No, let's
Speak
be
for young
civil.
people.
Let's be civil.
Speak
Lucia,
for young people.
let's be civil. Let's
Speak
be
for
civil,
young people. We
please.
cannot be fighting the system and still behaving like the system. This generation Y that you say I'm not entitled to, and rightfully so, I do not own any generation. I do not own anyone. But I have a voice that represents that generation. Who does your voice represent? Find someone to represent and represent them the right way that they should be represented. You cannot be demonizing young people and saying that you're fighting against the evils of the government, because the government speaks about young people the same way that you have spoken here today, and I am ashamed.
All right. Ojwang.
I remember one person told me, speak to the hand because my ears cannot hear you. I hope that's not the day today. I think that we say that if you can control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about their action. When you determine what a man shall think, you do not have to concern yourself about what he will do. If you make a man feel that he's inferior, or a woman, you do not have to compel them to accept an inferior status, for he will see it himself or herself. I think that in this generation, the new broom sweeps clean, but the old brooms knows the corners. As an African child, I think I defer to my senior, respect elders. Those are values that we cannot gainsay. I think that this generation is up to something, but you must first understand what you are up against. Glossing over it is not going to be a solution. We are in a generation that is distracted. You are watching more Netflix and foreign movies than your local content. You are listening to more music and distracted by the so-called globalization and global citizen than your local problem. Please come to our local issues, understand them, own them, and look at what you can do. I think as citizens, there is a lot that can be done. People have tried, all the generation have tried. So far, there is no statistic showing as young people you are voting any better than older people. You need to distinguish yourself. Learn from the older people. You don't make this world, you inherit it from those who are there. The people like Orengo stood up, our university student at the age of 20 and whatever stood up. This is no time for you to be in your video game and silly basement. Stand up and speak. I don't care whether you disagree with me or not, but at least speak. I will always defend your right to speak. I will always protect your voice, because the more voices we have, the better. Let us not have an ego where if somebody disagrees with you, then that's the end of the world. I think disagreements are there. It is okay. It is healthy. Be outspoken. I would rather you speak than keep quiet. And together, please be vocal. If you see something wrong, say it. If you see something right, say it. But let nobody patronize you. I speak for the wood. I also speak for the tree. I speak for the young people. I speak for the disabled because I'm a child of this country. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Joang and Lucia. Kwa kuja, let's be civil. I mean, we can choose to disagree, but let's be respectful. That is actually the basis of debate. Debate is not supposed to be a fighting ground or a battleground. I did not create a battleground. It's a place for conversations.
If it's bullshit, Gerald, I'm going to call it
bullshit. Let's not get back there, Lucia, please. All right, let's be civil and respectful in the way we engage. Asante sana. Dr. Takla, sasa kwa kuja naona Jeresu kwa sama, let me just read a few comments as I wrap up the show. Nick Taro anasema watching. Ronnie anasema achieve class true, that's our stand as generation now. I think I read that. Edwin Barina anasema hii kitu haitaki asira lesta kwa Richard Kamle. Jedrodis Okango Oko Lucia amekasirika, but how do you change politics if you don't vote wisely? Vote Lucia seriously. Doesn't care. Ron anasema let Daktari and Lucia disagree amicably, not taking it personal. I agree. Tuache banana. Ron Ian anasema we have a big disconnect with current leadership. Joshua Sapura anasema yela wacha asira, hii maneno ni pole pole. Ironia how does Dr. speaks for? He has already said he speaks for the wood. I don't know the trees. But just Generation C are emotional and they think by boycotting elections it will help. Emmanuel Kipsang anasema Lucia twende pole pole. Evans Kidan anasema relax, calm down. Atana Kimsa pia to Rono Ian anasema wow, today's tackle was late. Let's engage more on how to retrieve ourselves from the current mess currently facing us. Good day guys and I love you all. We love you too. Jerodis Okongo anasema Lucia don't be emotional. Isiasa haitaki hasira. If it's true you talk to youth like you are saying you want them to change, Kenyan politics then start encouraging them to vote, and that's how you change politics. Otherwise other people will continue electing wrong leaders for you and you'll continue lamenting in, year out. Evans Kitasama, let's agree to disagree with decorum. At the end of the day we are all fighting for a better life for everyone. Viva. Pauline Cherusama, Lucia, you should respect other panelists. Loud outburst is not leadership. Please inspire, do not imitate the others. Alright guys, thank you so much for joining us. This is a tackle and the tackle ends now. Hope to see you again tomorrow. Bye bye and take care. Have a great day. We love you.